Certainly interesting weekend for us. I thought our game Friday night, we probably weren't as good as we'd been in the previous 5 or 6 games. Had some challenges along the way within the game and, didn't manage the puck as well as we would like to. Had way too many turnovers. Sort of focused on that Saturday in between games and got a chance to show the team some video and some of the things we're trying to improve on. I thought we did a better job yesterday, and it was a combination of probably a lot of things over the course of the weekend. I thought Princeton did a real strong job Friday night between the blue lines of making it difficult for us to get a lot of offensive zone time. They continued to do it yesterday, and we were fortunate enough to score a power play goal in the second period, and then get a couple goals late. But it was a good weekend, I think, from the standpoint that we got challenged. We got challenged very hard, and certainly coming away with 2 victories helps us as we progress and get ready to play Minnesota this weekend.
These Minnesota games always seem to be some of the best of the year. Are there any that stand out to you that just remember being really really good games that you can draw on as maybe preparing players for the kind of experience they have in these kind of things?
Well, I think from my standpoint, there's been a lot of outstanding games, whether here, whether up at Ritter, overtime games. Big goals by their team and some of their big players, and certainly equally with our teams and our players over the course of time. I don't get really wrapped up in previous games. My sort of focus now is try to take some of the things that we did against Princeton well, some of the things we didn't do well, try to figure out in the next couple of days how we can strengthen up some of the areas within our game, knowing that it's certainly the players that have played against Minnesota the past couple of years and our upperclassmen, and I'm sure their coaches are going to say the same thing. Their players, generally get excited when they're going to come down here and play, and we certainly get excited when we're either playing here or up in Minneapolis. It's just been a fun rivalry. It's been a battle in most games. You don't see a lot of games that are lopsided, but I anticipate both teams being very excited Saturday afternoon, and both teams will probably play their better games, even though it's early in the season. So it should be fun. I know our players will get fired up, and hopefully, we can come out and execute probably better than we did this past weekend.
I remember last year, Sophia Shaver, when she moved to center, she got just being that much more involved in the game kind of led her to more scoring opportunities, and she took advantage of those. Have you seen anything along those same lines with Annie this year when she has played the center role, that she's just that much more in contact with the puck and uses that to her advantage?
It's it's just the nature of the position. If you're playing right wing, which Annie has done most of her career, and whether here at Wisconsin or with the national team, or growing up and playing at Naha, you move to the middle, you got more ice to cover, which is a bigger responsibility than playing winger. But more importantly, you're probably around the puck, and so you handle the puck a lot more. Last weekend against Duluth, I thought both nights, she played very well just because she had the puck more often and was able to do some things. And certainly this past weekend, the same things. When she's on the ice, she's probably touching the puck a lot more than she does when she's playing winger. So it's been a big asset, and certainly a credit to her for making that adjustment.
How has Brett Pettit looked on that in that grouping since she moved up with Annie and?
She's done well. I mean, when we started the season, she was playing in a different position in regards to where our depth chart and how deep we were prior to Emily getting hurt. But moved some people around and moved her up with Annie and Mauerman, and it seems to have done well. I mean, Mauerman's very aggressive on the forecheck. Annie's very strong on the puck, and Brett's just got a real high hockey IQ. So they three of them seem to work well together. And as I mentioned earlier, Princeton made it difficult to create a lot of offensive chances. When we did get a good offensive chance, it was mostly one and done. We didn't get that second and third opportunities, but I think Brett has felt more comfortable this season. I think one of the main reasons is she's healthy. Last year she was battling a couple injuries for the most of the season, and certainly coming in your sophomore year, you're going to be a little bit more comfortable for her. She's been healthy, and I think that's helped her along the way. So hopefully she continues to gain some confidence and continues to play well.
Kayla Gardner got the nod for the Four Nations team. I think it was last week. What kind of player has she been in her time with you? I mean, because it seems like she gets overlooked a lot with a lot of the talent you have up front, but playing on the blue line like she does, she's obviously right involved in a lot of key situations for you.
Yeah, I mean, she had surgery last spring after our season, and the one thing, if you get to know her and watch her play, she's extremely competitive, and she took her rehab very seriously this summer. Probably recovered quicker than any other players that have had a similar surgery, and I give her a lot of credit because she got invited to camp, with the USA program this summer, and really earned a position on this team. That's a good chance to play in a couple of weeks in the Four Nations. So, her hard work, her determination, and probably mostly how competitive she is on the ice has put her in a position to get a chance to wear the USA jersey. I know she's very excited. Looking forward to the opportunity, and we've seen that growth over the last 3 years, and certainly looking forward to some more growth as she gets those experiences.
Hey, Mark, over here. Ranked number 1 for the first time this season. That came out today. I know from your standpoint that's just a number, but does that still kind of reflect how your team has been playing 8 games into the season to have that number 1 spot?
Well, if you would have talked to me Friday night after the game, no. Certainly, I don't think the team was very happy with our performance, and certainly the coaches. But, that's part of the process of trying to develop and trying to continue to make improvements as you go through the season. Princeton was a very, difficult opponent for a lot of different reasons in the way they played. And so some of the challenges we as a team, you have to overcome some of them. And certainly I thought Sunday we played a little bit better than we did Friday. But, it's early in the season. Kids start going through their first set of exams and taking those, especially for our freshmen. And so there's a lot of things that go on outside of the arena that you try to keep your players focused on when they do come to the arena. And we just have to continue, as I'm sure a lot of our coaches around here continue to get better. It's a long season. We're still in the first, quarter of it, really, and trying to progress and trying to make improvements. So that's our task at hand, and certainly taking on Minnesota is going to be a challenge in itself this weekend.